people knew Craig, people knew Adrian, and you came through, and Truth, and all these other people used to come through there and load up on sneakers. Throughout this whole interchange, at no point have you given me any fluff or tried to post front on me in any type of way. So how are you able to remain humble while knowing that the average person probably knows who you are? And if they don't know who you are right away, as soon as you start talking, they're going to know.
Yeah, man, I've always prided myself on being the person that I've always been. Like, man, I still do the same things I do when I was young. I still play basketball, football, still hang with some of the same friends. And I just realized that this is a job for me, a career for me, but this career could end. So some of the same people that you cross paths with that you seen while you were in radio, when you're out of radio, you're gonna see them people again.
Right.
And so hopefully you've encountered enough folks and done right by enough folks that they be like, yo, he's cool, or he's humble, or he's this. I just always been the same person, man. I don't look at it as I'm better than you because I'm on the radio. We all get up, go to work the same way. So that's my whole thing.
True. Now, and you did mention, at some point it could end, and you have been doing it. You have been doing it almost 20 years. So do you have any plans for like the future? Do you got your eyes set on, larger markets or larger venues?
I ain't trying to go nowhere, man. Nah, I mean, for me, as far as radio wise, it would have to be a perfect opportunity.
Right.
And I'm only looking at 2 or 3 markets that I would go to, and it would definitely have to be about the money.
Right.
One, because, make good money here in Charlotte, but, some of the other money is just
ridiculous.
Yeah, you can't turn it down.
Yeah, some of it.
And just to go work in the big. I'm not in my career saying, man, I got to go work in a bigger market. I love Charlotte. I like Charlotte's growth. When I started in radio, Charlotte was 37,
right,
market wise. Now we're 23,
right.
So I love Charlotte's growth, and I don't see us going down in size. I see us going up in size. So in the next 5-10 years, we could be market 15, market 10, and I want to be a part of that. So. And I want to see that first local rap artist, because we did R&B. We got big R&B names come out of Charlotte.
We have.
So I want to be here and see that big rap artist take off, and see that big rap artist go on one of these award shows and win an award and be like, yo, man, I stayed and I was a part of that. So I love Charlotte. Like I said, I was born and raised here, man. So I love it. I ain't trying to go nowhere. But I'm doing some other things like I'm involved in a couple foundations. I work at Thomas Davis Defending Dreams Foundation. Work with my own foundation, Children of Murdered Parents. So do some things with that. And I want to coach somebody basketball team, high school football or something. I really want to coach high school basketball or middle school basketball and become one of them long-time coaches. Keep it like, he been here forever. Same thing I've done with radio, I want to do with like a high school football or basketball. Now,
with that, though, there's a lot of like mentoring, and you have to take on those children's problems sometimes, and their behavioral issues. Mm-hmm. Are you pretty good at dealing with that?
Man, I got kids. I got teenagers.
How many kids you got?
I got 6 kids, so I got kids. I got 4 boys and 2 girls, so I know about dealing with attitudes and behavior problems and all that. But no, a lot of times, a lot of these kids, they go through a lot, like just different situations. Especially a lot of kids being raised in single parent homes, and they just go through a lot. And I think sometimes they act out because they go through a lot. Right. And then the pressure of being in school is enormous for a lot of these kids. So I think if you can relate to them, then they'll relate to you. So
right.
So that's why I feel like I could thrive at, because to me, I think I relate to them. I don't know if it's true, but I think I do. So I wouldn't mind finding out.
Yeah, I mean, that's a noble ambition and undertaking. Yeah. What's one thing that, and this is kind of like a 2-parted question.
Okay.
And some of the guests, they take it however they take it. But what's one thing that you would like other people to know about you, or what's one common misconception that people have about you?
That I'm not smart. I tell people all the time, do you forget I got a college degree? Actually, no, that I really take education serious. I think people here act crazy on the radio, but they don't realize that, like, on my show alone, it's three African Americans. 2 of us graduated from college, another one attended college. So, we really into education. We really like mentoring youth, and we really are about our community. So, I think that's one myth that people don't know. Like, they don't know, like, in school, like in high school, middle school, and stuff like that. I was a very good student. And I think that has helped me in other parts of my life when it comes to just paying attention and just being on your job and being disciplined. So I think that's one big misconception, because people don't realize. They be like, y'all just on there acting crazy. But and I think another misconception is a lot of people don't realize that radio is work. Like, they don't understand the work that go into the product, because all they hear is the finished product.
Exactly.
But it's work.
Yeah, and I didn't, before coming here, I had no idea. There's work beforehand. You got to, if you might be on the air from 5 to 10, but that means you got to show up at 4.
Right.
To get everything ready, make sure everything good. You still got to stay after 30, 45 minutes. Taking care of whatever you didn't already, or preparing yourself for the next day. So everything is work. It's just all about what you enjoy doing. If you find something you enjoy doing, then it's not even work. I really enjoy being in these settings. I enjoy talking to people, and I tried to get various radio jobs, and I didn't have either the qualifications or the experience, and so I had to figure out a different way to get the qualifications and the experience. But I knew that, like, I really enjoy talking to the people in my community. I know that people there's all these bravados and images, and you got to put up personalities and stuff like that. But when you sit down and you talk to people and you really hear, like, I would have I've been listening to you since 2000, 2001. I don't listen to a lot of radio anymore, but I spent my whole adult life in Charlotte, and I'm familiar with the Morning Madhouse, but all these things I would have never known,
right?
As far as college graduate,
right?
6 kids, all these types of different things. And even still, with even seeing you in passing, I still don't know these stuff, because it's just like, well, how do you, approach this person, So my whole thing is just about breaking down barriers, showing people a different side, of somebody that, you might think, or, you just somebody you want to know better. How are you able to, and I'm trying to ask this question as respectfully as possible.
Man, just ask the question.
Okay, so there was some drama.
Yep.
How do you, broadly speaking, how do you, maneuver through situations that are, potentially, damaging to your character?
Well, the thing about it is, first of all, for me, the first thing is you tell the truth. You know what I mean? That's the first part of it. And as far as me and my career and the things that I've been in my life and things I've been through, I've always been transparent with my audience. I've never put on the facade like I'm just this old perfect angel. I don't do this and I don't do that. I quickly tell you, like, man, I make mistakes in my life. I've made mistakes in my life. I've did this. I've did that. So I think when you deal with people and people, they've listened to you for years. They know you. They like, yo, he's a real guy. And as a real guy and as a real person, you gonna make mistakes. You gonna do stuff that other people are gonna be like, man, you shouldn't have did that. Or, okay, well, let me learn my lesson.
Right.
And in learning my lesson, that was a part of me learning my lesson.
Right.
Being hard headed and doing some things I ain't had no business doing, and that's how I went down. But as far as the drama part, I just removed myself from it. Like, I didn't participate in what that part of what somebody else is doing or what you're saying about me, because I know who I am. And if you don't like me, or if you got something to add about what I did, you wasn't in the situation.
Right.
I didn't do it to you.
Right.
So why you mad? Why you mad? So that was how I handle it. And my first priority is to my family. So I got to deal with them every day.
Exactly.
I got to see them every day. I got to go deal with them first before I can even deal with anybody else. So after I dealt with them, and we got it semi straight. You know what I mean? It was easy to move on with my audience, because they, people understand people. And they understand real people. They understand, like, man, people gonna make mistakes. We move on from it.
This is true. I mean, those are some wise words. I appreciate your candor and your honesty, man. And I just respect everybody until they give me a reason not to.
Right.
So I don't have any. I try not to speak on situations I don't have any
right. And my thing is, like, if you're a fan of somebody, you like somebody, and like parents be like, man, my kid's a role model. I tell anybody, man, I don't want to be your kid role model. I want to be your kid's inspiration.
Right.
Like, so when you somebody's inspiration, I want to inspire you to do something. You don't have to do what I do.
Right.
But do something, because
Exactly.
so many kids and so many people are doing nothing, and those are the people who are talking. The people who ain't doing nothing. You ain't even doing nothing with your life, but you're talking about my life.
Exactly. There's a lot of people who keyboard warriors,
Yeah.
URL soldiers, like, you know, they sit
And
back.
it's so many people that's sitting back and they waiting. They wait. Ooh,
Wait.
You gonna mess up. I'm just waiting for that day. And when that day come, they all gonna come out the woodwork.
Right.
But then when that day is over, it's over.
Right.
I'm right back to climbing my ladder of success. You going back and hiding, but the thing about it is, you showed your card, you played your card, you showed your face. I know who you are now.
I know exactly who you are.
So now I know how to handle you,
and I know how you feel.
Right. I know how you really feel.
Yeah, and I hate that, like, you know, you got so many people lying in wait. You know, no matter who you are, what you do,
right,
to falter or to, you know, to misstep.
Mm-hmm.
You know, very seldom does it, and when that happens, very seldom does anybody step in, like, you know, hey, you know, I seen that, you know, I'm here to support you, I'm here to help you, you know, don't listen to what these people say, or even before that,
right.
Like, you know, it's a Kanye West line, you know, people never get the flowers while they can still smell them, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if people come up to you and say, hey, you know, I think you're doing a great job,
man. You know, it happens a lot. I mean, you
That's
know, to
what's
be honest, and I don't look for it, but it happens a lot, and I truly and I humbly appreciate it. I be like, man, thank you, because you're right. People for the most part, the majority people don't do that. So when somebody does that, it's rare. It's like, yo, man, thank you. And, you know, going through my situation, a lot of people did step up and say, man, listen, I don't care, because that dude he's did this and this and this. You can't judge a person on, if we're judging a whole body of work. We're judging a book. If we're judging a book by one page,
right?
You can't judge a book by one page.
Yeah,
you got to read the whole book.
You got to get the whole.
You got to get the whole book.
You got to get the whole thing.
So it was people saying, like, listen, man, we gonna rock with you, ride or die. So I was like, I really appreciated that.
That's what's up. I mean, if for no other reason, you gotta rock with the home team. I mean, other stations,
you don't have to, but you know they do. Sometimes
you probably should. I mean, other stations, they don't have anybody, you know, from around here. You know what I'm saying? You wake up and you hear somebody else, in New York or Atlanta or wherever else they are.
Yeah.
You know, I want to hear about what's going on around here.
Right.
You know, those people are entertaining. You know, Ricky Smiley's hilarious.
Right. Yeah.
You know, Breakfast Club is cool sometimes, but, you know, they don't know about what's going on here. They don't know nothing. You know, they don't know nothing about Keith Lamont Scott. Right. They don't know nothing about,
except for what they saw on CNN, but they're not on the front line.
Exactly.
Like, we was out there in the protest when that went down. Just, you know what I mean? Not trying to plug it or anything, but just saying, you know, we was out there because we felt the pain. And for me, it was just amazing to see this happened in Charlotte, and then the aftermath was like, wow, because I had never seen nothing like it before.
Right. It was interesting to see. It's interesting to be a part of. And I will say that, you know, other people chose. I think one of those nights, other protests, there was like a huge concert too.
Yeah,
a huge concert.
It was the night of the Bad Boy concert.
That's what
Bad Boy reunion tour.
You know, and some people chose.
That was the first night. That was the first day it happened.
Yeah,
I didn't go to the concert.
Right,
because I went over there in the neighborhood to find out what was going on.
But, you know, I did see other people at the concert. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, and you
and
know,
it's nothing to be ashamed about. It just somebody already had plans, and you could have joined in the protest later. So
so I mean, not shameful at all. But I did see, you know, Power 98, and you specifically like, hey, I'm here at the protest. You know what's going on. So, that's all I had, man. Outside of, you know, I really appreciate you coming on.
Hey, man, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
I appreciate you talking to me. I learned a lot, you know. At some point, I mean, you know, eventually I aspire to be in a position like yours. Maybe not. I don't have to necessarily be. I'm very comfortable talking to people, and I'm very comfortable in front of a mic. I could do, you know, an on-air personality, but I don't have to be in that position. But
you want to be behind the scenes.
I would prefer to be behind the scenes, but, you know, there's always an opportunity. You know, somebody might be sick, or somebody might need me to fill that role, and I'm comfortable doing it. But like I said, you know, I want to be that guy, you know, picking music, and, you know, I'm gonna have a whole bunch of, like I said, Frank Zones, a whole bunch of Joe Budden, like, you know, play all the people on my iPod, you
that
know,
you like,
that I like, you know, and just you know, I probably won't have that job very long if I do that.
Nah, I mean, if it's a station where if those people are making hits at that time, then you can keep the job. But if they ain't making hits,
right, yeah,
it's over for you.
Okay, cool, man. Well, that's all I had. Not that people don't know already,
Yeah.
but just if you could tell my listeners how they can reach you, get